Ladies and gentlemen, the CS2 market is incredibly weird right now, and today we're gonna be talking about what happened. Yeah, we're gonna be diving into the market. We're gonna check prices. We're gonna see what happens, and we're gonna figure out what's gonna happen in the near future. How accurate that is gonna be, I do not know. When I talk about the market, normally I go to the price empire. The market cap is $5.2 billion, up 0.49% in the last day. So this kind of suggests that the market has just been going sideways. There has been no significant price movement because the market cap has been just above 5 billion for the past, I don't know, couple of weeks. Price empire market cap suggests that prices are not changing rapidly. That is not the case. It is very much indeed moving up or down. We're gonna find out which one. You may already know which one, but yeah, let's go find out. You guys all probably know that I buy CS2 skins and I resell them for profit. That's what these 7 skins were. And the reason I thought that the market was actually moving is because I've been losing money on pretty much every single item that I've bought. So I pretty much lose money on every single item that I buy. Let's talk about what this means exactly. Let me quickly construct a little price graph right here. We're gonna have price on that axis, time on this axis. So let's say I bought an item right about here. Say it's $1,000. Depending on the item, I pay different rates. Let's say I bought it for 900 bucks. Now, when I buy a skin, I have to wait 8 days for it to become tradable and marketable. Trade protection kind of sucks, but it is what it is. So here's day number 1, day number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I can sell it here. And lately, I've been losing a lot of money. So if I lose money, that means I sold it for less than what I bought it for. So that means I sold it, say, right here for $800. So if I sold here, that means the price graph looks like this, which is very much downtrending, and it means in 8 days the price went down from $1,000 to $800, meaning the market's down 20% in 1 week, which is quite freaking ridiculous. Let's take a look at some skins that I bought and how much they are worth now. So, I mean, I already sold most of them that are tradable. So I sold this Karambit Game Doppler for $2,500. That sounds like a lot of money, but if I tell you how much I bought it for, oh god, I paid $2,820. So when I consider fees, that is a loss of $382 on a $2,500 knife. So the price went down like 25% basically to count for how much I lost and the rate that I bought it for. All in 1 week, which is, that's crazy. That is absolutely insane. Selling your CS2 skins has never been easier. All you have to do is join my Discord server at the link in the description and type /sell in any channel. My new bot system will give you an estimated price, and from there, I will handle the cash out personally. I pay via PayPal after the trade protection period is over, and I decided to increase my rate so you'll get significantly more than before. So if you want to sell your CS2 skins for PayPal, join my Discord server and type /sell. Now this one wasn't as bad. Let's inspect it in game though. This one wasn't as bad. I bought it for $3,210. So after fees, I lost 200 bucks. But that still means this knife dropped like 15% of its value in 1 week, which is insanely quick. That's an insanely fast rate for skins to be dropping in price at. So let's take a look at some price graphs. Here we go. 1 month, 2 weeks ago, on November 2nd, it was $4,000. Now, $3,000. Oh, I'm so GG. Of course, I sold at the very bottom. It happens, guys. It happens. So I think you can see that the market is down frickin' 30% in 2 weeks. Let's take a look at a couple of other skins. Butterfly Fade. How are Butterfly Fade prices doing? Normal, factory new. Don't care about minimum wear. Don't care about stat track. They are $2,600. They were $3,800 at the peak after the big drop, because of course the big drop was right here. They were oh my god, they were over $5,000. They dropped to $2,000, came back to almost $4,000, and now they're back to $2,600 to $3,000 depending on the fade percent. Absolutely insane price movements. That's crazy, bro. Cheapest one is a phase 4 right now. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Before crash, $3,000. Bottom of the crash, $1,100. Top of the peak after the crash, $2,150. Now, $1,500. Even listed for $1,400. That's another 33% minus in 2 weeks. That is insane. And Price Empire would suggest that knives are constant in price. In fact, I think they have another. Yeah, it's not even working. It just says all knives. The 24-hour change 0%, 7-day change 0%, 30-day change 0%. But even if you look at Dopplers, it says they're only down 1% in the last 14 days, which is so incorrect. It's so incorrect. So you can't just say that it's because of trade-ups, because like the prices of knives, like if you just look at Doppler knives, that shouldn't be affected by traded up Redskins, unlike how the market cap is. So anyway, I digress. Let's move on to checking other knives. M9 Gamma Doppler is one I wanted to check. These are $1,680 today. What the fuck is that big peak? No shot that was actually a peak. So anyway, M9 Gamma Dopplers, $3,000 before the crash, $1,000 during the crash. Apparently they peaked at 3,000. I don't know how much I believe that, but now they're like 1,680, which is an immense drop. Again, if it's 3,000, that's a 50% drop basically. But even if it was 2,000, that's still a 20% drop, which is very significant. Then we have the Butterfly Gamma Doppler. I feel like this one must have dropped a lot because a lot of people will be doing trade-ups for these. Whoa. Whoa, yes they did. Goddamn. $4,400 before the crash, $1,800 during the crash, $3,100 at the peak, and now they are $2,200. Another 30% drop. Vice gloves. I bet these are also kind of crazy. Let's take a look at field tested. The price graph isn't going to be like super accurate, but it's going to be like rough. 1,600 before, 600 during, back to 1,200, and now the average is 800. Another minus 33% in 2 weeks. I think that's a trend here. They crashed heavily after the knife trade-up update. They came back up about double or something, and then they came back down 33 freaking percent. What else did I want to look at? Hedge mazes. I think these might be different though, because how many people are really doing trade-ups for $7,000 gloves? I don't know. Before the update, 12 freaking grand. Middle of the update, 3,500. Peak back to 10 grand, and now 7 grand. Another minus 30%. What about Pandora's boxes? Field tested, I bet it's also going to be similar. $6,400, 9,600 before, 4,000 during, back to 8,000, and now back down to 6,000. That's only, quotation marks, a 25% drop in 2 weeks. Whoa. So it appears like the gold market, so knives and gloves, are currently down bad. They're down about 30% in the last 2 weeks, which is absolutely insane. Losing a third of your value. If you're a skin and you lose a third of your value in 2 weeks, that's incredible. Why are knives and gloves crashing so quickly in price? People have been spamming knife trade-ups left, right, and center. We have Milan's. He's been doing hella freaking knife trade-ups. Let's see if we can look at that. Here you go. He did 50 knife trade-ups 1 week after the update dropped. Absolutely wild. He made hella profit. Then, just a couple of days ago, actually this was yesterday, he did 20 more knife trade-ups, and he hit a Karambit Sapphire. So he already did the trade-up. He's now edging, looking for the Karambit. There's the Karambit. There's the Karambit. Look how blue that is. That's crazy, bro.
Is it?
That's a Sapphire. But it's not just him. It's not just him, of course. Epidemic CS. There we go. This is on Wednesday. $2,000 of knife trade-ups. Then here's another trade-up that he just did. It popped up during he was queuing a match when the green pop-up showed up. I don't even know what he got. Let's see what he got. Butterfly. Oh, Gamma Doppler. Holy shit. He hit the max freaking win. So yeah, people are doing quite the number of trade ups on a pixel. If I'm not mistaken, he hit a butterfly sapphire. Here we go. Here it is. Butterfly knife sapphire. That's a sapphire. That's a butterfly sapphire. Everyone and their mother is doing knife contracts. So am I. I did 20 to 30 knife contract in total, if not more. I posted a video where I did about 20 of them. So people are spamming knife contracts, which means that they're spawning in plenty of new knives. And that is what I think is crashing the market mostly. But when someone does a knife trade up, not only do they spawn in a brand new knife, they also burn some reds. So if they burn reds, surely covert prices are going up, right? Let's take a look. I'm not so certain about that. Let's see. What is a very common red that people are using for trade ups? MP9 Starlight Protector field tested on CS Float, cheapest non-stat track is $58. Look at this. Obviously, they were $2 before the update. Then they incredibly quickly increased in price. They were $74. Now they're $58. So not only are gold prices crashing insanely quickly, red prices are also crashing a little bit. Well, maybe not crashing, but they're definitely coming down. That's the Starlight Protector. I have to look at other skins such as the M4 Mecha Industries. This is from the Gamma collection. These are $135. Okay, I mean, these are coming down in price a little bit. They were $145 at one point. They're now $133. So coverts are also dropping. It's not only knives. What other collections do we have? So, Chroma collection. What's the most common Chroma skin? I don't know. Mac 10 Neon Rider? Field tested, maybe. Non-stat track, $112, but it was $117. This one's pretty flat, I will say. I wouldn't call this a crash at all, but it is definitely not increasing in price, but it would be the case if they weren't overvalued, but apparently they are overvalued. What other collection do I have to look at? Spectrum, so that's something like the P250 See You Later. In field tested, they are $80. They were $90. So once again, they're dropping in price. These are, in StatTrack, they are useless. You can't trade them up in StatTrack, but in non-StatTrack, they are $375, which is about what the maximum was. They are about the same. Let's just say knife trade-ups are getting worse and worse to do, and you shouldn't do them under any circumstances. So, recap. Golds are crashing in price. Reds are not climbing though. Reds are either also going down in price or they are just staying the same price, which means pretty much everyone is selling skins. At least more people are selling skins than people are buying skins, which is of course gonna overall cause the market to go down. But we really only talked about the knife and the case skin market. So from October the 19th to November the 19th, apparently we opened 76 million cases. That is insane. 76 million cases is insane in 1 month. That's 2 million cases every single day. But read the orange banner. Estimated opening numbers might be heavily inaccurate due to an increased use of trade-ups in response to the recent trade-up update. I think the way these are calculated is by looking at the number of battle-scarred coverts from the cases and calculating back. So as far as I know, this is insanely inaccurate, because it doesn't take into account trade-ups. Or rather, it does take into account trade-ups. So the assumption was previously that battle-scarred reds, basically nobody trades up to them. So it's a pretty good proxy to how many cases were opened. But now people are just chucking everything in trade-ups. So now they are being traded up to. So it looks like we opened a lot of cases. I don't actually think that is the case. Let me show you some evidence. Let's go to the Steam market. Let's go to the community market. And let's take a look at some cases. Kilowatt case, 15 cents. 1 month ago, it was 50 cents. They're actually 38 cents. That's still a 25-30% drop from 54 cents. That is insane. Cases are down bad. Yeah, Revolution cases aren't 9 cents. If they were 9 cents, I'd be filling up storage units with them. Revolution cases started at 60 cents. Now they are 44 cents. Once again, a 30% drop. Recoil case, 39 cents, started at 50 cents. For some reason, it peaked at 63 cents. What the fuck is going on here? What? Why did 16,000 sell for 63 cents? And a couple hours later, 17,000 for 45, then 14,000 for 37. What the hell is going on here? Now notice that the Kilowatt case, the Fracture case, the Revolution case, and the Recoil case all have relatively shitty knives and gloves. Fracture case has the skeleton Doppler, the skeleton fade. Revolution case has the Vice, but it's really only those gloves that are good. These have been dropping heavily. Let's take a look at the Dreams and Nightmares case. $2. Started at $2. Pretty much a break even. Shit's going crazy. I don't know what this was here. I have no idea what this is. Panic buying and then panic selling right after. That's usually the other way around. This case, the Dreams and Nightmares case, has fantastic knives in it, and it's about break even. The Fever case has pretty decent, but overall, relatively mid knives. So I think the trend is pretty clear here. Good knife cases are going up, bad knife cases are going down. Just to actually drive that point home, Spectrum case, which has fantastic knives, well, it dropped a little bit, but not nearly as much as the ones with the bad golds. The CS2 skin market, especially the knife market, just experienced a humongous shock. This is not like a little thing that was changed. This is a massive change, and prices are just stabilizing. So prices need to come to a new equilibrium, and it seems like they haven't reached that new equilibrium yet. So that could mean that prices keep dropping for another month. It could mean that we just reached the equilibrium and prices are done. It could also mean that prices went down too much and they're going to go back up again. At this point, it's kind of speculation to say what's going to happen to prices. So while it's true that if you buy cases now, if you buy like the cheaper cases, it's cheaper than if you would have bought cases a month ago. But where prices will go, we have no idea.